Hello everybody, how's it going? How goes your Tuesday? I think today's Tuesday. It is I, your pro streamer slash resident derplander Linkus, who absolutely remembered to put on a starting soon screen. I swear I take 2 days off of streaming and I forget how to do everything. Anyways, welcome on in. Today is the second day of Shadowbringers where everything is completely fine. This is a wonderful, happy place with absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah, this place is kind of fucked. Yesterday, got summoned to the first. Got told this place has been drenched in primordial light for almost a century. So we're here to try to put a stop to it before it causes another calamity back in our home world. So one of our first orders of business was to seek out the Scions. We went to Alphino first while he was scouting the island of Calusia. Turns out it's the second main city in this entire shard, Norvrent. Kind of a pleasure house, but it looks like paradise from the outside. But then you get in, and you realize that its ruler, Valthree, is kind of a dickhead. And also, apparently, he commands Sin Eaters, which are basically light-infused creatures who have nothing better to do than to torment the last remaining people of this shard. So yeah, this is a wonderful place, and I would absolutely love to raise a family here. Anyways, we left off yesterday reporting back to this Crystal Exarch person who summoned us here to say, hey, we've got Alphino, but yeah, Yulmar ain't gonna help us. So now we're off to find Alizé in a place called Arang. Alright, so adjust my chair, stand up. Let's head out to find Alizé. Come looking for work. I might have a spot for another god. Not here for work. Here to get a flight to Amarang. Oh, friend of the Exarch. Hoping to meet someone in Amarang, are you? I shall be your guide. I was about to set off our outpost there, as a matter of fact, so we can leave right away, assuming you have everything you need. Off we go.
Arang. From this parched earth, the nation of Nabath, Arang once rose. When I journeyed here, long ago, I spoke with a sun-weathered elder. He told me Arang meant majestic land in the language of his people. And so it might still be, were it not for the light's unrelenting onslaught.
One thing I forgot to mention from yesterday We found a warrior of darkness whose real name is Ardbert. And for some reason, he's been wandering adrift for 100 years, and apparently is nothing more than a spirit, but only we can see or hear him. No idea why. But that's a thing. No matter how many times I come here, the cold never fails to catch me off guard. The sky may be as bright as the scorching hours of the day, but it gets brisk enough to make you shiver. Oh yeah, because it is technically 2 a.m. Aorcian time. Now, the Xbox letter said I was to take you to the inn at Journey's Head, which is where this Alizé friend of yours is staying. That's a fair old distance, so I propose we make a stop in Mordsuk to break up the trek, allowing me to attend to some business and you to enjoy the local hospitality. Sound good? Good. Alright, you lot. I'm off, and I'd better not see those goods covered in sand when I get back. Right, we head southwest, straight as an arrow. There's a wall. Stop here a moment. It's your first visit on the ring, is it not? Before you cross the river of sand, you need to turn around and feast your eyes on that. It looks like water. Built them big, didn't they? That's Kasir Shal, a fortress meant to protect the northern reaches of Nabatharang. Seeing what was left behind, I believe it when they say that it was once one of Norvrand's mightiest nations. At least until the flood came along. Great chunks of Nabatharang's lands were lost to the light, its great city included. The few who survived didn't see much point in staying. Most of them, anyway. No, not many choose to come back here these days. Not with everything in ruins. Even that hulking great fortress has become little more than a Maru for me and my caravan. Well, not everywhere is as deserted as this place. Just wait until you see Mordsuk. Let's press on, shall we? Here we are, Mordsuk. By the blessed shadow, I love this town. Mordsuk, not just full of Mord, but Humes and all manner of others too. It has long been a refuge for folk displaced by the flood, so the population is nothing if not diverse. Well, have you met a Mord before? You might look like shifty little blighters, but a more welcoming lot you could never wish to meet. Speaking of which, we should pay our respects to Master Gingen. I'll go ahead and let him know we've arrived. That's a kobold.
Master Gengen, This is the friend of the Exarch I was telling you about.
Very good, very good. Though friend or no, all are welcome in Maud's.
Souk is Mordish for city. As things stand, this souk boasts the largest and busiest marketplace in all Armorang. You'll find ore from the mines here, of course, but all manner of other things too, many of them rare. As I told you before, not many visit Armorang by choice, but Maud Souk's a different story. Merchants come from miles around to purchase the relics the Maud dig up.
Aye, that they do. For Maud do not dismiss the spoils of the earth. We clean them and polish them and reveal to the world their true value. That is why they come here, come from far away, come with much money. And so our souk is always busy, busy, busy. No such thing as a thing no one needs.
You say that every time, Master Gengen. Some sort of family motto, wasn't it? Or perhaps a Maud philosophy, for which we should all be very grateful. Would that everyone was so willing to take in refugees regardless of race or creed. Now then, if you intend to spend any time here, you'll want to gain the trust of the locals. And there's a little custom all newcomers are expected to observe.
The cracking of the coin purse. You buy one thing from the market. Price can be low or high, just as long as you buy.
As the good Maud says. In fact, the Exarch sent a little something to cover this very expense. A Verbert gold piece, no less. The first I've held in years.
Verbert gold? Real Verbert gold?
Here, newcomer, crack your coin purse with me.
Oh no, you want my goods, newcomer. I have jars and pots all smooth and shiny.
Over here!
Come and look.
You buy, you buy.
Enough of that! Calm, I say! This one must still journey through the barrens. Nothing bulky, nothing heavy, no pots. Nothing better for the road than a full belly. Spend that piece at Ronron's place, yes? Eat for 3 before you leave.
Apparently this Verbert gold is, kind of valuable. Welcome to Ronron's, traveler. I have wares to empty your purse and fill your belly. Take your time, stare and sniff before you choose, but no drooling on the merchandise, yes? So, what have you got? Worms. Everyone's favorite, plump white worms slathered in honey. Once you eat a glazed wriggler, you'll never want any other treat. Bread. Call that mush loaf. The middle is stuffed with bittersweet cactus fruits, so even if the bread dries out, it's still moist inside. Keeps you going in the heat. So, calzones with cactus. Meat. That's my ever-burning bounty, made with the best parts of the lizard, cured with special spicy spices. Some find the smell challenging, but it'll warm you up on chilly desert nights. So roasted lizard, and then frogs. Oh, you'll like those. Chewy skewers. I'll find small frogs hiding under rocks, spear a stick, and then roast over fire. Crackly on the outside, gooey on the inside. Perfect for snacking. They all look tasty, yes? Which to choose? Which to choose? Never been one for spicy meat, but take the bounty. Yes, put some spice in your step. You won't feel the cold this night. Probably not the next one either. You have the gold? There you go. And done. One Verberite honor buys you 10 sides of lizard meat. 10 sides, huh? That's a hell of a lot of meat. So much I'm getting FC buffs. Yeah, 10 sides of that. Yeah, the rest of you can have some. Our visitor invites us to feast. Let us give thanks for his great generosity and small appetite. Consider your coin purse cracked. I am pleased to accept your custom, and Get-Game will be pleased that you honored ours. Keep the merchandise down, yes? No returns. I'm gonna go that way. Okay, we're fine. I was watching from here, Linkus. You honored our custom, and with great relish. You will always be welcome to Mordsuk. If you need anything in Amarang, we are here to provide. You have courage, my friend. Ronron's wares are more exotic than harmful, but I don't envy you the bellyache you'll have on the morrow. Right, now that you've eaten, I expect you're eager to get back on the road. Would you mind if we delayed our departure a touch? I have a few deals left to close before I can conclude my business here in Mordsuk. Ah, offering your services, are you? Ah, well, an assistant can certainly help hurry things along. I have a receipt here for some goods I need picking up from the market. All properly paid for. You just need to do the lifting and carrying. I'll go and take care of some last-minute haggling then. See you in a bit. So what do we get? Table cactus, iron ore, and Naboth Orang antiques. We don't need that. Don't need that. Stack of created armaments. No. Do we need that? Kassad sent you, did he? Right, yes. What kind of ore was it again? Iron ore. Iron ore, of course! I'll explain this box I have here. It's all yours. Alright, this is the next one. Came in with a Kassad, yes? Good, good. We can finally stop thinking about that sack. Please take your prickly purchase. And need to find this third one. To be collected from Mola. are they? Ah. Hey, no touching! The merchandise is spoken for. You couldn't possibly change my mind with a better offer. I'm actually here to collect it for Cassard. What? Cassard sent you? Why didn't you say so? I would dream of selling his goods to a higher bidder. Oh, no. My Thurang relics, was it? All packed up in that box there. Handle with care. Don't tell me you've been around the entire market already. Yep. Here's your stuff. That's a lot, all right. Good work. Quick work, too, considering you've not set foot in the place before. I thought you wanted to sit in the city like the Exarch. Something tells me you're not a stranger to visiting strange lands. You could say that. Unfortunately, your efficiency presents something of a problem. I'd hoped to conclude all my business before you return, but it seems there's been some confusion over one of the orders I placed. I'll have to drag in my middleman and sort this mess out. Sorry to make you sit around and twiddle your thumbs. Cassard, it feels like an age since I last saw you. Well, if it isn't the lovely Tesleen. It has been a while, but your timing couldn't be better. This gentleman was on his way to meet with Alizé. I'm supposed to be taking him to your corner of the desert, but a misplaced order has commandeered my attention. Wait, I know who you are. Alizé has told me so much about you. You're Linkus, aren't you? Yeah? I knew it! How wonderful to meet you in the flesh after hearing all those stories. I'm Tesleen. I work as a carrier in the inn, and I've gotten to know Alizé quite well since she took up guard duties there. If you want me to take over as Linkus' guide, Cassard, my shopping's all done and packed for the road, so it would be no trouble. That would be a great help, thank you. Well, looks like you'll be able to head straight out after all. My caravan and I will be in the area for a while yet. Seek me out when you've had your fill of almond ring, and I'll send you back to the Castarium. Thanks, buddy. Alizé has been desperate to see you, Linkus, so let's get you to her sooner rather than later. The inn isn't too hard to find, really. You can actually see the top of the rock spires from here. Yeah. We just need to swing around the ridge, then head south. Come on, I'll get my supplies together and meet you outside. All set? I should probably mention the wildlife. While most of them will leave you be if you keep your distance, the local coyotes have learned to prey on folk heading home from the markets. I can usually swing a sword well enough to fend them off, but I may have loaded myself down with too many bargains today. You think you can handle any beasts that try to make a meal of us? Yeah, I gotcha. Thought you might. Alizé was always saying how much... I mean, let's get going, sorry. Alizé was saying what? Sorry, there wasn't much time to shout a warning. Were you bitten? Things can be nasty. And yet hardly a match for you, it seems. I always thought Alize was strong, but in her mind, she was never... Now it makes sense. Well, we should push on. It might be best if you scout ahead and clear out any coyotes that have a scent. I'll wait here so you can fight without any distractions. Oh, thank goodness you're back. I could hear the howling and snarling from here. Frightful creatures. Let's hope the rest have seen your handiwork and know to avoid us now. I need to get these supplies back to the inn. This is it. Thanks to you, I didn't have to drop my shopping even once. Come to think of it, I'm glad I didn't make the trip alone. It seems you ended up escorting me. I'll have to repay the favor somehow. But first, let's head inside, shall we? Welcome to the Inn at Journey's Head. You might be our first visitor from the Crystarium since Alize arrived. It's not much, but it's home for the afflicted and a handful of carers. I'm not gonna get sick either, am I? Contagious? Well, no, not as far as we know. I don't think I've met anyone besides Alize who is so unfamiliar with our situation here. Most folk have grown up knowing someone who knew someone. You might leave out something obvious, so it may be best to have Alize give you the full explanation. Now, where is she? I think she might be out on patrol. You could wait, I suppose, but why not go and surprise her? She usually takes a look at things from the watchtower first, so you might be able to catch her there. It's not far. Head out the south gate and you'll soon see it. I'll stay behind in case she comes back while you're gone. Excuse me. Alize is nowhere to be seen, but you spot fresh footprints on the ground. They look to be about the right size. Small footprints lead off to the northwest. Footprints continue on to the northwest. Yeah, I figured. around to the west. More tracks here, but they ended up a mess of disturbed sand.
Get back here! Is that... It can't be.
We almost lost that one.
I had it under control, right up until the moment I didn't. I'll do better next time. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner. How are you?
How are you? Also, back on a source, we're in the middle of a full-blown war. Also, what the hell is going on here?
We've fought them to a standstill, then. The Exarch did say that the Empire seemed to have drawn back when he last looked in on the source. But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Urianger were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the Exarch by now, or should have at least.
Speaking of the Exarch, I heard you kind of punched him whenever you got here.
When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Urianger's vision. He may use 10 words where one would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal.
That's the truth.
But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters.
Indeed.
That great wall of white is a remnant of the Flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the First tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. A colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrant was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the Flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger Sin Eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether and triggering the birth of new monstrosities. They are creatures of base instinct that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason, which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin Eaters' victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
So that's their realness. So the Sin Eaters are actually people that were transformed, be it by that or by other Sin Eaters. It's just a matter of time, more for some, less for others. Those patients will all become monsters in the end. And to add insult to injury, the afflicted are feared, shunned, cast out of society, and exiled here to the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Tesseline and the others have also been kind enough to share their knowledge of the Sin Eaters, which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol, of course. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are where the usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast with a white hide or carapace is a Sin Eater, but you'll know for sure soon enough when they come slaving after your ether. Remember, it's kill or be killed with those monsters. Once you've slain whatever's prowling around out there, we can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Good hunting. Sure, this works. Doesn't seem to. Nothing here. How did you fare? I killed 2. Oh, I thought there might be 1 or 2 lurking on the fringes. Nothing out of the ordinary for this area. I expect you noticed it yourself, but individually, these lesser Sin Eaters are no more deadly than any natural predator you might encounter in the desert. It's when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat. Much like the Void Scent, they have an unfortunate tendency to flock to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful Sin Eater goes on the hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's a basic idea behind my patrols. The cult, though, ranks often enough that their numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. And you've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Thessaline, shall we? Alizé tells me you helped out on her patrol. You have our thanks, and my apologies for leading you from one battle to another ever since the moment we met. In any case, I'm glad to see the two of you found each other. You have no idea how badly Alizé has missed your company. Everything is always, if Lakis were here, he would... That's an exaggeration, and I don't sound like that either. I was simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Lakis's methods. Honestly, after seeing him in action, I can understand why. The way he leaps into the fray without hesitation, he really is something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing, though I've no doubt he deserves all the admiration he gets, just as you do. I'd love to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting for me. There are 101 things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Alizé? Wait, what? And twiddle our thumbs while you work yourself to death? Surely there's something we can help you with. Yeah, what can we do? I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can start by helping me sort out the larder, Alizé. While we do that, could you tend to a few patients, perhaps? There are 3 in particular I meant to visit. It's just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin isn't caked in sand. Their names are Ponyo, Todd, and Hallwork. They might not give much in the way of response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. Thank you. Hey buddy, how's it going? Todd glances up at you blankly, but you notice the tension in his face ease slightly. A kid? Howard remains utterly still as you wipe the sand from his cheek. The texture of his skin has hardened to something akin to plaster. You've seen to the patients. How were they? One actually talked. One kind of had a response, and then this kid just sat there. Good. That's good. I knew they would enjoy meeting you. I am concerned about Hallwork, though. I'll have to speak with the other carers. I think his time may be near. We shall leave you to have that discussion, then. How's it going to take Linkus to Mordsuk if you have any errands that need doing? Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up a nectarine from the markets, please? Kassad's caravan just passed through, so Ron should have some fresh fruit. Come then, Linkus. There's something I want you to see. Right after we stop at Ron's stall, of course. Oh, back again, are you? You know, the taste of Ronwan's wares. Actually, we're looking to buy a nectarine. Do you have any in stock? Oh, yes. Nectarines, peaches, grapes, fresh and juicy. Given how richly you cracked your coin purse for me, I might still owe you food. Here, take this one, free of charge. Thank you. God, I've never seen a moored merchant give away something for nothing before. How much coin did you spend here? Just one, technically. Oh yes, I'll take a jar of honeyed worms as well. Oh no, they're not for me. It's an offering of sorts. The worms, if you please. Only the best wigglers for you. Come again, my friends. Right, that's our shopping chores taken care of. Let's head up past the Aetherite to the main tower. A view I want to show you can only be seen from its very top. Here are your precious worms. It buys us a trip to the top of the tower, does it not? Please, Wigglers! You actually brought them! I really shouldn't let you, but just this once, alright? Only once! Never fails. Shall we?
Look, over there. Where...
Sorry.
Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought, it's Halric's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true.
So it continues shifting.
Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed?
Yeah.
Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
Put them down. I'm glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Ariange's lecturing. And I needed you to know, beyond a doubt, that Tesleen has no other choice. That the Nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just a threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The Kharas are truly fond of their wards, would spare them that suffering. It is their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. It appears that way. So on one side of the world you got a city that acts like a paradise when it's really not. And apparently people get sacrificed to sin eaters. And on this side of the world, people get turned into sin eaters, one way or another. And then they get exiled here until they basically turn or get put down. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a Nectarine? Thank you. Ellie's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. We may not need it just yet. I spoke with the others, and we've decided to keep an eye on Halric for now. Thanks to you, though, if his time does come suddenly, we'll be ready to send him on his way. The taste of happier days. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat and I'll make us a fine stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
I'll take another Bolden. Anything's better than that spicy meat.
That's what I like to hear. Give me a moment to warm up the pot. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrent could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Lucas, Alice, we have to go look for Halric. I don't know what's gotten into him, but if he's wandering out there alone... We'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before. But it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated. They can sense something. In any case, let's keep the search close to the inn. Halric isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. Search the east side. Please, Halric. Please be alright. I'll cover the north and west then. You take everything from here to the south. See no sign of Halric. Maybe he went further west. Maybe the others can sense the Sin Eaters because they're effectively Sin Eaters themselves. Oh, I'm an idiot. Scan the surroundings in search of Halric and finally find yourself under attack. They can even turn animals. Wonderful.
Any sign of him?
Nothing here.
No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it!
Lead away.
There it is! Is that... Oh no! Ulrich!
We have to run!
Tesseline! No!
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
Welcome to Shadowbringers. World's fucked. Hope you guys had a good break, by the way. I'm sorry, Linkus. I tried to tell the Cares what happened, but I can't be the the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. In the meantime, does not care. It's just so unfair. Teslead was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared. There wouldn't be any pain. All the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us, so I appreciate what you're doing here. Me? I can barely... I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. And she cared about that sort of thing. About giving people the chance to say their goodbyes. Howard is as unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up into the sky where the Sin Eaters made their escape. Alizé. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them. To me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Howick. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? It wasn't even a fight. I was too late. Too slow. I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for the things beyond your control. You brought Howick back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you will forgive me for leaving you, and that you will delay Howick's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Howick. Keep Teslene's words close to your heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment? I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes, and a purpose. This damned light, building without cease, is the reason we can't save those corrupted by the Eaters. But what if we corrected the balance, even if it were only little by little, even if it took years? It would surely make things better. Hold on there. Everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We shall return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel the Eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I have gained here to hurt them. The tone this game sets. Like, hey, you ain't Eorzea anymore, kid. We ain't here to play games. This world's foobarred. Literally and figuratively on the verge of an apocalypse. Forgive me, Lucas. I couldn't stay there a moment longer. But I was serious about what I said. While the men and women at the end battle against this blight with kindness, I must fight it my own way, with steel. From Eorzea's sword in the darkness to Norvrent's sword in the light? Gods above, it feels like an age ago now. Miss Salazar, is there anything I can get you? You'll swift as tomorrow. I need to return to the Crystarium immediately. As you wish. Oh, remind me where goggles or we ever fly over Armor Rank again. I've barely gotten the sand out of my eyes. Well, the wind did help to clear my head at least. I think I'm ready to meet with the Exarch. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the Senators out, shall we? Date. Let me in, please. Thank you. Thank you for seeking me out, Linkus. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. And looking at Alphino, I say he's as eager to begin this discussion as I am. I say we lay our experiences before the Exarch and step back to see what kind of picture they make. Then we can decide where to go from here.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmore might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Are you sure killing these light wardens will do it, though?
Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then. In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as Umbral Calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed. At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Guess we'll have to...
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
Let's do it. Home Minister Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we had best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads northwest of the Exensor Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. Well, Alphino is about to tell us what that small issue was about the Light Wardens. I guess that'll have to wait until we fend off this attack at this whole Minister Switch. All set. If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now! As you kind of walk. Home Minister Switch is past these gates and through the woods. It is not exactly a near neighbor to the Crystarium, but as we occupy the same region, we have built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we expect inside, Captain? The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. I can't do her accent. Judging by the number of eaters present, we have a good reason to believe that a Light Warden leads the attack. How convenient. It seems we'll have our chance to slay a Warden sooner than we expected. One does not simply slay a Warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of the fiends? They hold more light inside them than all their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile ether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman perhaps, and turn her into a brand new Warden. Ah, well, you can leave that particular quandary to us. I must ask that the gods stand down and allow us to engage the leader of Eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can. But what if... Understood, my lord. As captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you. Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Leviers, Captain Lena, and last but not least... I'm ready. A formidable group indeed. Into Home Minister we go. Once we reach the Light Warden, do not hold back. We strike to kill. The instant... well... it's just telling you about the trust system that they have.
Very well.
Let's give it our all.
Yeah, it's good enough. I was curious how the trust system was going to work in New Game Plus, but I see. I had nothing to fear. Oh, whoops. I'm an idiot. Herpeter per streamer. Let's try this again. Gods, a Sin Eater. It can't be.
underestimate me!
The monster we saw in Amarane!
must go!
What's going on, live? She waved. Yep. Is everyone all right? We're fine. Let's keep moving. Wait, those are villagers. Oh, yep. You. Steal the Ahats. There may be others we could save. Aye, we draw the eaters to us. Another Eden. So, this is where you went. Alize? Gone pale. I'm fine. We should keep moving.
You underestimate me!
Manor house is just up ahead, as is the source of this suffocating ether. Yeah. Sword and shield. Nice. God, this must be the Warden.
smoking crater!
Hey, Exarch. Where have you been? I liked working. Gone. I could scarce believe it. Rest well. Alice. It was no less than what I expected, but well done.
It's releasing its ether! Fall back! We cannot let it touch us! Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw!
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption. The blessing of light, and the hero who wields it now stands before you.
Just like a Pokemon. Use the same element against somebody. It's not very effective.
Behold! The monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
Imagine you being in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and for the first time in your life, seeing that.
It can't be.
What's happening?
It's so beautiful.
The sunless sea. The warrior of darkness has come.
Is that what I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
How many years have I waited for this moment? For the one possessed of her blessing. For you. You have vanquished the Light Warden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, the other Wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will. I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed, but for the present, I beg you, stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the Wardens and restore darkness to the first.
I will become the warrior of darkness.
On behalf of the First, I offer you my deepest thanks.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exar, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
From warrior of light to warrior of darkness. How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a monumentous one nonetheless. Indeed, think of the morale. Now, as for how we proceed from here, the villages we evacuated earlier have arrived safely in the Crystarium. They seem to be accepting the situation for the moment. Most folk are far too distracted by the sky to worry about wounds or lost homes. They whisper in wonder if the warrior of darkness has come. 'Tis to be expected. Linkus, I must ask a favor of you. Would you be so kind as to conceal your involvement in this endeavor for the time being? Seeing the light recede from Lakeland is a monumentous occasion, and many will be swept up in a maelstrom of excitement and confusion. Should you come forth as the legendary warrior of darkness, I fear that, no matter how good your intentions, such an appearance would throw the city into disarray. I find myself in agreement with the Exarch, though my concerns are more focused on Yulmore. It may be best if you maintain a low profile until we see how Volthory responds to all this. I like Alpha knows reasoning better. My thanks. Though we cannot freely celebrate your success, pray allow your heart to be buoyed by the joy of our citizens, a joy you surely brought to being. Ah, and I must ask the same discretion of you, Captain. Excuse me. 'Tis my intention to share with our people the tale of a great warrior who stood in defiance of the Sin Eaters. This unnamed champion defeated the Light Warden, and has since departed for parts unknown, yes? As you wish, my lord. Your penchant for mystery is nothing new, and I will encourage folk not to question the cedar. Although I expect to be told the whole truth of it one day, about all of you. With that settled, I shall return to the Crystarium and make an address to the people. These explanations and adjustments will consume much of my time, so pray take the opportunity to rest and recover from your exploits. And to think, you'll not even need to shutter the windows to enjoy a dark and peaceful night's sleep. I must stay behind and coordinate the evacuation of the remaining survivors. And I hesitate to ask after all you've done here today, but could I ask you to pass on a message on your way to the Pendants? Please let Bragi know that we're bringing a number of injured, and that any restoratives in the markets need to be reserved for the infirmary. Yeah, I could do that. We should start making our way back to the Crystarium. Slowly, mind you. It wouldn't do to arrive too soon after the Exarch. I'm staying behind as well. There's something I need to check on in Home Minister. We already went through the village top to bottom, Alizé. We should all take the chance to rest, you included. I knew one of those eaters, and I can't rest. Not now. So please, I wish to be left alone for a while. And that means you as well, Linkus. I shall be cross if you try to follow me. I promise to find you later, when I feel myself again. Just you and me then, shall we? That looks like a hunt train about to form. It is a hunt train, according to the link show. Except it's starting in Omeg. The best night theme in the entire game. Changed my mind. In fact, I'm going to take my next break while this music plays. So I will be right back, folks. I'm going to get up, stretch the legs, maybe grab a munchie or two. Encourage you folks out there to do the same. And I'll be right back in a couple minutes. Alright folks, we're back from break. This music is too good. That's a glam. Oops. I just had to click on the wrong window. One sec. Okay, turn off the BRB. Be an actual good streamer for once. Well, the Crystarium seems relatively ordered, wouldn't you say? The Exarch's speech must have been reassuring to hear. On the contrary, there is something jubilant about in the air. I have a feeling this night won't be quite as peaceful as our hooded friend predicted. I think I shall take a brief stroll around town before retiring to my chambers. Once you've discharged your duty to Bragi, I suggest you do the same. Sleep well, Lakers. I hope untroubled dreams find you and Alize both. More so for Alize, because she seems kind of, lost. Now that we put down the Light Warden, that not only turned Tesleen, well, the Sin Eater that turned Tesleen, but Tesleen herself were both put down by us. Hi, what can I do for you? Looking to buy a lantern, like every other stumbling soul in the city? No, we got wounded coming on the way. Need medical supplies. I see. Well, Captain Lena can rest assured that any potions I spot coming in will be set aside for the wounded. Hang on a moment. If you're carrying message for the guard, does that mean you were there then? To battle at Home Minister? A stalwart lad like you might want to pay a visit to the Wandering Stairs. Make himself known. I'm sure Glynard can introduce you to some interesting opportunities. Sailor, more beer for table 2. A couple of pints of mead for table 3 while you're at it. Coming right up. Sorry, we rushed off our feet this evening, sir. Can I get you anything? Drinks are on the house. I heard you had some interesting opportunities for me. That Bragi has a twisted sense of humor. I think he'd send you to me at a time like this. First real night in near 100 years has folk all riled up and then some. What's more, there was that Eater business at Home Minister Switch. They say a Light Warden was destroyed without a damn trace. It was a warrior of darkness who did the deed. Yeah, go with that. I really must apologize for Glynard. He's been almost as rowdy as our customers, and that's no small feat. A lot of our regulars are bounty hunters, you see. They mostly go after eaters, and the rumor of the warrior's appearance was the spark to their kindling. You know how the weak eaters are drawn to the strong ones, right? Yeah. Aye, they swarm like angry bees around a queen. You need to look no further than Home Minister for proof of that. Attacks on that scale don't happen every day, praise the blessed Shadow. No, the more common threat are the strays. No one knows why, but every now and again, an eater will leave the pack to prowl alone. Those are the ones you run into on the road if your luck is foul. They're a danger to everyone, so the Settlement Council puts bounties on their heads. And our bar here is a convenient place for hunters to gather and share information. Seems a few of them were inspired by the Warden slaying even more than most. These are the types who have their sights set on absolute worst of the strays, a class of eaters that have been dubbed the Cardinal Virtues. The Virtues showed up out of nowhere about 3 summers ago, and when historians learned the descriptions given by survivors, well, apparently they share an appearance with the villains who caused the flood. And if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, they're also reported to be as tough as light wardens, not the kind of prey you could take down single-handed. Our virtue hunters had all but given up, but knowing the Warrior of Darkness is out there has lit a fire in their bellies. Just look at them. That Hume over there with the oversized sword is grandson. He's in it for revenge. Wants to recruit a comrade-at-arms as tenacious as he is. The Mistel lad is Lou Reek. Don't be fooled by those dewy cheeks. He's as hard a hunter as they come. He just lost a partner and seems to be on the lookout for a new one. That's Sirig. Word is he seeks an expert in magecraft to help fight the virtue he's after. Last we have Giald, dwarf and drunkard both. Wanted to join forces with a healer, and only a healer. Something about needing a mender's wisdom. I've seen my share of competent veterans, and you have that look about you. Maybe you should introduce yourself to one of our hunters. Who knows? Together you might even collect a bounty on a cardinal virtue. That was a grand idea. Imagine the prestige my bar would earn if we boasted the patronage of a successful virtue hunter. Access to role quests. The role quests I plan to do once I complete part 1 of Shadowbringers. I have no idea when that part will come, but that's when I plan on doing the role quests. And I will do each one. The tank, the physical DPS, the magical DPS, and the healer. I'll have to look up what technicality is for story-wise is, but yeah. I'm trying to think it goes heal. I think it'll go healer first, mage second, physical third, tank fourth. I have to ask around and do a little bit of research for that. But that'll be the plan. Welcome back, sir. I wonder if anyone can sleep at the city in such an uproar, but you will be retiring to your quarters. Very good. In light of the present situation, I have had illumination prepared for all our rooms, ready to rush to the markets for lanterns or candles. Have a pleasant night, sir. Alright, there's nice guy. Now shut the windows before every frickin' moth in existence flocks into your room.
So it's your lot's turn to be the Warriors of Darkness, is it? It's funny how things work out.
Been watching, have you?
Well, I did warn you. I followed you to Yulmore and then on to Armarang. And I was there when you slew the Light Warden. Those white-haired twins who were with you. I remember them from our battle in the Source. Are they your friends then? Through thick and thin?
They are.
Aye. Then I suggest you keep them close. It's when you charge ahead trying to save someone else that you end up losing those you love. Not that you need telling, I'll bet you've lost plenty. But I wonder, what will it cost you this time? I don't remember when it was that I learned regret wasn't worth the bother. You get numb to it all over the years. The lost comrades, the broken promises, the abandoned principles. Just more nagging burdens to ignore.
So this is what the light was hiding. He's here. I must go to him.
Meanwhile, inside an Imperial Magitech facility in the Source.
Intruders! Fan out and fight them! Out of my way!
Stay your weapon. We are not your enemy. When the alarm sounded, I wondered what we had done to betray our presence. But I see now we are not the only intruders. Sir Estinian, I presume. The dragoon who plucked the Warrior of Light from the jaws of death? Your armor is most distinct.
Much as yours once was. But even without it, I see a former legator still has eyes and ears in unexpected places. Van Baelsar, in the flesh. Though I understand you prefer Shadow Hunter.
You are in contact with the Scions, I take it.
Through no choice of my own. They tracked me down and conscripted me to their cause. I swear their receptionist was trained as a spy. Not that anyone can escape that Baldessian woman once she has caught the scent of your ether.
If they have resorted to using freelancers, I must assume their attempts to wake the afflicted have failed. And what of their champion?
Away on another business. Thus, it has fallen to me to root out any trace of the Empire's new weapon.
If it is Black Rose you seek, you are too late. My people have already completed your mission here. Yet this is but one factory among many. When they caught wind of our efforts, they built additional facilities to ensure production continues unabated. There will be no one left in the lands they conquer. No citizens to conscript. No skills to exploit. Nothing the Empire needs. And they will call it victory.
What exactly does this black rose do?
The gas is described as a poison, but its actual effect is more arcane in nature. It was created to disrupt the ether in living beings, to bring the flow of their life energies to a standstill. Inhaling even the tiniest amount will cause all bodily functions to cease, much as a potent venom will stop a man's heart. Released over a city, Black Rose could conceivably kill every inhabitant, and all without damaging a single structure.
Search every corner! Rouse the barracks if you have to! I want this facility secured!
I have more questions, but now is not the time.
Sir Estinian, I have an offer for you, but I will make it only once. Since it would seem we seek the same answers, you are welcome to join us.
Ha! From what I hear, you need all the help you can get. In case you don't know, Varys himself confessed that your empire was a creation of the Ascians.
I am aware of what his Radiance said at the parley. Thus I would return to the capital, that I might behold the truth of this corruption with my own eyes. My path leads to Garlemald.
This didn't even be like, and so does mine. I wish I would have said that there. Unwelcome guest. Begging your pardon, sir. Do you perchance intend to head outside? If so, I would strongly advise you not to stray too far from Crystarium. Word has it Yolmor has dispatched its military to Lakeland. Given the timing, one can only assume they do not welcome the return of night. Even now, the Exarch is inoculate, deliberating a response. Keyboard turn like a champion. Show me in, please.
You have come at a good time. As you may have heard, we have something of a quandary on our hands.
I did.
Laxon Loft here in Lakeland. Yulmore has sent one of its airships. They have questions for us concerning the death of the Light Warden. Their emissary makes his way here even as we speak.
I suppose the sky does rather give the game away.
Indeed. 'Twas inevitable they would come knocking. The only question was how soon.
Speaking of.
My lord, I am come with the Yulmoran emissary. May I show him in?
A moment, Captain, if you would. Everyone, gather round. I do not wish to show our hand prematurely. Forgive me this liberty. Vanish. Enter. Well, well. The commander of the Yulmoran army himself. To what do I owe the honor, General Ranjit?
The Light Warden is dead, Exarch. Were your people responsible?
You are clearly in some haste, my lord. But before I address your question, you must allow me one of my own. What is Yulmor's interest in this?
His benevolence, Lord Vorthry, is gravely concerned that the actions of an ignorant few may jeopardize relations between man and Sin-Eater. Should it transpire that the Crystarium is guilty of abetting the villains responsible for this outrage, my lord has decreed that it suffer the same retribution.
I see. Since you have been so candid, I too shall speak my mind. Regardless of who is responsible, the Crystarium rejoices in the Light Warden's death and welcomes the return of the night sky. If Yulmor considers this tantamount to aiding those you term villains, then by all means, carry out your retribution. Know, however, that even should every innocent soul in the Crystarium perish, nothing can stop that which has been set in motion.
Folly. The death of one or 1,000,000 Sin-Eaters changes nothing. The world is dead, and writhe as we might, like maggots in its rotting course, it will not be reborn. Only by my master's grace may we live out our days in peace. But I waste my breath. You have made your stance clear. I shall relay your words to Lord Vorthry. In the meantime, you would do well to counsel any here who have done more than merely rejoice in recent events, to throw themselves upon Yulmor's mercy, promptly. One last matter. We are searching for a young artist and his assistant. Know you of whom I speak?
An artist and his assistant, no. I cannot say I do.
What a pity. Should they reveal themselves to you, I bid you hand them over at once. My master is most eager to see them again.
Am I imagining things, or did he just stare straight at us?
I fear he did.
Dude rolled a nat 20 on
The
perception.
General is not a man to be trifled with. He is a warrior of fearsome repute who has led Yulmor's army since before Vorthry's time, when the nation still spearheaded the fight against the Sin-Eaters. One does not command the world's mightiest army, and for so long, without possessing exceptional instincts.
If Yulmor chose to send such an individual, we must assume this talk of retribution is more than an idle threat. While we are grateful for your support, my lord, we cannot in good conscience put your people in harm's way.
'Tis noble of you to say, Master Alphino, but my people have been in harm's way since long before you arrived. Yulmore has ever yearned to rule over what remains of the world. Even should we surrender the Warrior of Darkness to them, they would find some other pretext upon which to invade. The people of the Crystarium know this only too well, which is why, when the time comes, I am certain they will fight to the last man. If truth be told, I would not have been surprised had Ranjit declared war here and now.
He may have reason to delay. According to reports, the Yulmoran forces at Laxan Loft were observed taking a prisoner. A young woman believed to be none other than the Oracle of Light, Minfilia. It may be that General Ranjit wishes to convey her to Yulmore before commencing hostilities. Having mentored generations of Minfilias, it would not surprise me if he had made her capture his chief concern.
I'm sorry. Generations of Minfilias?
Of course. How remiss of me. I had intended to speak to you of Minfilia. There is, however, much to say, and precious little time in which to say it. I think it best that you seek out Maren at the Cabinet of Curiosity. He will be able to enlighten you. Alphino, Alize, would you care to accompany your friend? You doubtless have insights of your own to offer on the matter.
All right. Though I'm still not sure I understand it all myself.
In the meantime, I will set about making provisions for war.
Sounds, I guess good. Minfilia has indeed been captured. I dare say we will see another familiar face anon. First things first, pray seek out Moen at the Cabinet of Curiosity. Yes, if you're after books pertaining to the Warriors of Darkness, I'm afraid most are out on loan at present. They are experiencing quite a surge in popularity. Actually, we're here to learn about Minfilia, or Minfilias. Oh, you wish to learn about the Oracle of Light? Then it would be my pleasure to assist. After I've finished off some few outstanding tasks, that is, while I attended them, perhaps you could fetch me a book. The Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light, it's called. Though it's intended for younger readers, it provides an excellent summary of the subject matter, and the artwork is quite lovely besides. I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone with an interest in learning about Minfilia. But you must see for yourself. The book should be located on the level below. Should, I say. For, while there is a place for everything here, not everything is always in its place, despite my best efforts. In short, if the book is not where it should be, it will almost certainly be somewhere it shouldn't. So, good luck! It's not there. Just as your eyes begin to blur, they finally come to rest on a copy of the illustrated tale of the Oracle of Light. Have you found the book? Yes. Yes, this is the one. Hope it wasn't too difficult to track down. I'm happy to say I finished all my pressing tasks. If you want to call your friends over, we could begin learning at once. Without further ado, then. It began 100 years ago, when the flood of light threatened to swallow Norvrent. Just as all seemed lost, a savior appeared who halted the all-consuming radiance. A maiden with hair of spun gold and eyes of clear sapphire. Naught was known about her save that her name was Minfilia, and for delivering the realm, she came to be revered as the Oracle of Light. After stopping the flood, the mysterious maiden vanished without a trace. But 15 years later, her name would unexpectedly reappear in the annals of history. When Sin Eaters laid ruin to the kingdom of Verbit, a young girl was discovered who was immune to the creature's blighted touch. One with hair of spun gold and eyes of clear sapphire. She was hailed as the Oracle Reborn, and came to likewise be called Minfilia. Enlisting in the Bjorn army, this Minfilia fought and vanquished countless Sin Eaters. Alas, like so many other soldiers, she eventually met her end in battle. Yet with her dying breath, she whispered unto her grieving comrades, Minfilia will return. And true to her words, some years later, another young girl was discovered who possessed the self-same eyes, the self-same hair, and the self-same powers. She too took the name Minfilia. She too fought the Sin Eaters as a soldier of Yulmore, and she too fell in battle. Many more would have followed in her footsteps, so the cycle continues to this day. And that concludes the tale. By their valor and sacrifice, these women have saved Norvrent on numerous occasions. And were it not for them, we might never have learned of the Light Wardens and their nature. They sound like formidable warriors. Some, perhaps. The truth is rather less simple. Though the Oracle is reborn with certain common traits, she does not inherit the memories or the knowledge of her previous incarnations. All of the Minfilias thus far were discovered as ordinary girls, unversed in the ways of war and ignorant of the power they harbored. While some embraced their fate and devoted themselves to training, others did not. But all were made to face the Sin Eaters, and all died to keep our hopes alive. What can you tell us of the current Minfilia? She was found by the Yulmoran army some 10 years ago and taken into their care, or rather their custody. She was a prisoner in all but name, for by that time, under Lord Valthry's rule, Yulmore had already abandoned resistance in favor of decadence. Minfilia was an uncomfortable reminder of the war they no longer wished to fight, a potential threat to the peace, so they kept her under lock and key. For a long while, we heard nothing more of her. Couldn't even be certain she was alive, save that it was in the Yulmoran's best interest for her to remain under their control. Then, 3 years ago, a gallant soul stole into the city and rescued her from her clutches, just like a hero from the tales. Indeed. Well, I believe we now have a good grasp on Minfilia's tale. Thank you for your time, Mullen. Might I trouble you for a word, Lycus? Outside? Alright. As you will have already surmised, the gallant soul who rescued Minfilia was none other than our own dear Thancred. They have since been wandering the land together, never remaining in one place for long, which is why we have not yet had a chance to meet them. We know that Minfilia journeyed here as Heidelind's emissary to halt the flood of light. It could only be her that the people of the First witnessed 100 years ago, the original Oracle of Light. But while there's plainly some connection between a woman we knew and her namesakes, the fact that these girls do not share her memories must surely mean they are not the same person. Thancred has to understand that. I have no doubt that he understands. The question is how he feels. Regardless, the Thancred we know would not forsake his charge. If she has been captured, we may be certain he will not stand idly by. There you go again, talking in a roundabout way. If you think we should rescue Minfilia, just spit it out. It just so happens I agree with you. It's quite clear that this Minfilia possesses Heidelind's blessing. And it wouldn't hurt to have a second such individual on our side, right, Lycus? Sure, quite. I see you've made up your minds. Exarch, what brings you here? A report and a proposal. First, the report. Our scouts have confirmed that the Yomoan forces are at Laxenloft do indeed have Minfilia in their custody. For the present, they are holding her there, but we can be certain they will move her to Yomor ere long. Should that happen, we may be forced to give her up as lost. So if we mean to act, we should do so quickly. Which brings me to my proposal. I ask that you entrust this undertaking to us, the people of the Cristeria. Yeah, what?
You are doubtless eager to attempt Minfilia's rescue, and with your combined strength you may well succeed. But as I said earlier, I do not wish to show our hand unless absolutely necessary. Twas not merely the night sky that you restored to us, but hope. Hope for the future of Norvrand. Unlike you, we cannot contend with the Light Wardens, but so long as hope burns in our hearts, we will fight on regardless. This I will prove to you. My friends, I thank you for gathering at such short notice. There is something I would ask you all. As many of you are aware, I received an emissary from Yulmore a short while ago in the form of General Ranjit. To my dismay, the General condemned the slaying of the Light Warden, and warned me in no uncertain terms that, should the Crystarium cast its lot with the Warrior of Darkness, there would be war. Let none be mistaken. We would be hard-pressed indeed to resist the might of Yulmore. Some would even call it suicide. And yet my heart cries out to fight. Better that than relinquish the hope that swelled in my breast when I beheld the night sky for the first time in 100 years. Or so says my heart. My mind, meanwhile, reminds me that to follow my heart would be to risk everything we have accomplished thus far. Clearly, this is not a decision to be made lightly, nor less alone. And so I put the question to you all. What should we do?
My lord, you already know our minds. It brought tears to our eyes to witness the knight's return. The whole of Norvrand deserves the same, and not just because some children's story tells us so.
Yulmore's influence is far-reaching. Should war break out, trade would be subject to restrictions. The flow of goods will dry up, and we will struggle to make do with what little trickles through. But make do, we will.
Aye, we can weather such hardships. Is that not the very thing the Crystarium was built for? We have always taken pride in our ability to sustain ourselves. Not just to endure, but to thrive.
When all falls down around you, rise up. Those were your words. There may come a day when all hope seems lost, but even should the rest of the world give in to despair, we shall not. We shall fight on, that our children and our children's children might know a better tomorrow.
Rousing words apart, I never much cared for those Yulmoran bastards anyway. No better than common swindlers, most of them. Wouldn't know a fair deal if it came up and kissed them on the arse.
Everyone else is being so, like, good with their words, and this guy's just like, fuck them.
Trust you to spoil the moment.
It appears we have a consensus.
Hey, we will do all we can, and hold the line, stand firm. This guy's just like, fuck them. Kill them all.
Let it be known that the Yulmoran host at Laxon Loft has taken the Oracle of Light captive. They fear the power she holds over the Sin Eaters, and doubtless intend to imprison her once more. So, I move that we rescue the Oracle, grant her a place among us, and let that be our answer to Yulmore's ultimatum.
Hear, hear!
Hear, hear!
In planning a strategy for the rescue, I open the floor to you all.
And there you have it. If Yulmore wishes to denounce us as villains, then we shall embrace our villainy. Will you do so as well?
We will not be outdone. Consider us your partners in crime.
lord, our proposal is as follows. We begin by deploying Amaro to occupy the skies over Lakeland. They should serve to delay the airship's departure. At the same time, we scatter dream powder from the air. Not all will succumb to its effects, but it should thin the enemy's numbers, affording us an opening to swoop in and liberate the Oracle.
Very good. See to your preparations.
And what exciting crimes would you have us commit? Speaking for my fellow villains, I'd say we're capable of most things, though we draw the line at indolence.
If excitement is your desire, then I bid you join the guard. Captain Lena will give you your orders.
And while everyone sees their preparations, we will see to ours and be back tomorrow. Folks, again, I say this every time, but I really, really mean it. Thank you very much for hanging out, lurking, doing what you do. Really does mean a lot. This individual is still streaming, and shall I raid him? I'm gonna raid one Squiddish, who is a sprout with he and his girlfriend, Bryn. I'm gonna go to them, cheer them on as they do their thing. Looks like they're in Kurthus with the Inquisitor / Heretic storyline. So we are gonna go watch that. Absolutely no spoilers in the chat. He hates that, as most streamers do when they play something blind. As for me, tomorrow, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do because of political reasons and also weather reasons. The remnants of that Hurricane Ida are supposed to come through my area tomorrow, along with the other political reasons for people not wanting to stream tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything tomorrow or not. But if I do, I probably won't say anything and just quietly go live. So yeah, I'm still kind of up in the air because it depends on the weather, it depends on the political situation, all that stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna hop off. If I do go live tomorrow, it'll be at 5 p.m. as always, Eastern Daylight Time. Otherwise, it'll be Thursday that I go live. So thank you so much for being out here tonight. And whenever I go live, I will see you then. So have a good rest of your day / night. Be safe out there, folks. See you next time.
As far as notifications pretty handy to use, so maybe you can help you out with some nights. Anyway, bye.